welcome back to Valley News Now. Adam Shelf, and I'm joined by Doug Leier. Doug, great to have you back, as always, my friend. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you.
Good to see you, and we got some topics to get into. You know, I feel like it's a great time to have you on. Always a great time to have you on, but I love talking a little holiday because I feel like that's just such a great time when people are able to really get out into the wilderness and enjoy themselves.
You sound like a guy that's going on vacation to me.
Oh, no comments. I cannot confirm or deny my vacation status.
So you're going out into the wilderness,
Yes.
The wilderness of inner city Chicago.
Yeah, I was going to do a little darkness retreat.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, me and Aaron Rodgers were going down to South America.
I mean, you're going to Chicago, he was going to Egypt, and I honestly... Everybody's got to go find their peace in their own spot, and there is a lot to say for going to something that you're familiar with, and there's a lot that resonates with the outdoors for people. Is
sure.
You know, we've got people watching in Grand Forks and in Fargo or Castleton and Devil's Lake, and they may be working somewhere, but they may have grown up in Dickinson or someplace else, and their safe spot mentally is outdoors, back home. And
totally.
that's one of the things that, this world talks a lot about mental health.
Mm-hmm.
And really, since COVID, all the bad stuff of that situation 4 years ago, what did people do? Well, they went hunting, they went fishing, because everything else, they went to the park, they went for a bike ride, they went walking. And there's a lot to be said for, even if you don't hunt or fish, get to a park, go for a walk. And I'll say that, I mean, my job is to promote hunting and fishing, but if we can get people outdoors and they go through a walk at Lindenwood Park and they see a dad and a son fishing and they see that kid catching a fish, they don't even know what it is, but the fish is flopping around, the kid's laughing. And I saw one just the other day. We were near Detroit Lakes, and the kid's like, get the fish off, and mom's over there taking pictures, and dad's got to go take the fish off. And it's one of those moments, it's similar to you're sitting at a ball game, you're sitting at a Red Hawks game, and dad catches a foul ball and hands it to his son, or the son, they're chasing after a foul ball. So there's the family side of things, the connections, there's clearing your mind and breathing that fresh air. So when it comes to holidays, we really want to encourage people just to get outdoors, whether you're going to a ball game in Chicago or going fishing along the Red River. We've got a lot of hunting seasons. We've had an early Canada goose season that's been going on for a couple weeks now. We've got dove season opening up. We've got deer season, archery deer season and up on Friday. So if you need an incentive to get outdoors, we're here to help you. We'll give you every reason to get out of the basement and get outside.
I love that, and it really resonates with me too. For me, camping is such a great way to, if I'm feeling a little overwhelmed, life's just crazy lately, I'll get out there, and I remember it was actually during COVID, things were kind of nutty at one point, and I went camping with my friend up in the mountains in Colorado, and I, tied my, those little backpack hammocks.
Yep.
Tied that between two trees and turned myself into a little cocoon.
That was you.
Yeah, and I slept in that, and I woke up and I'm like, I might have been a burrito for a bear, but I survived the night. I'm feeling refreshed.
Yeah.
And it's just like something about just kind of letting it all go.
Yep.
Sometimes I yearn for the days of the landline.
Yeah.
You're
not alone.
We're so hyper connected. Sometimes to really establish a peace of mind, it requires to kind of unplug and get out into that nature, and just feel it.
Right.
Just feel the fresh air. Have the patience. So much of our day to day is so busy, and so a built-in long weekend like this, I think it's just so great to be able to go. Slow it all down.
Yeah.
Slow it to a crawl. Leave the phone, in the car, whatever you got to do. Get off the TikToks and the YouTubes, whatever you're doing. Quit
the MySpace and the Commodore 64 for the old people like me.
Yeah.
Well, no, and you're hitting on a really, really key point, because whether you're in the media business, you're an accountant, you're a lawyer, there's pressure in all jobs. some people, they think of Carson Wentz and Mike Trout going back to North Dakota and doing some hunting and realizing that those guys are in high pressure positions within their chosen profession, and when they get a chance to get away from it all and get outdoors, and it's every walk of life, and it's a stay-at-home mom, it's a teacher, everybody's got pressure, and I mean, I'm not trying to take anything away from going in the basement and playing Minecraft or whatever they got.
There's a time and place for that too.
Right,
sure.
Right, and that's what I'm saying is, but so whatever gets you in that piece, I would say go do that. And if you haven't, find it. And the first step that we're going to suggest is get outside and breathe that fresh air, get that vitamin D, get that straight up.
Can too.
Yeah, right.
Jeez.
No, exactly. So, and it's going to be a great weekend. I mean, obviously, going into this weekend, you've got the Labor Day holiday, and we open up our archery deer season on Friday at 12 noon. And for some people, it's been kind of sneaking up on them. They're, getting back to school and getting into the groove of things. They go, oh, whoa, we got to get ready. And you're right. It's Tuesday afternoon, and if you're going to be deer hunting at 12 noon on Friday, make sure you got the tag, make sure you got the bow, and then start taking care of some of the other checklist items. But we really want to encourage people that if you're watching or if you're listening and we're catching you flat-footed, this isn't the time to say, well, maybe tomorrow. This is the time to start doing it.
Time, baby.
Right.
All right, now, and speaking of old deer hunting, we got old deer hunting, archery deer hunting, and back in the day, back when I was in high school, I used to tease all my friends because I know it's not the proper name, but I would say they would like to go bow hunting, and I would always call it a bow and arrow.
Bow and arrow.
And so I would say, hey, Wesley, are you going to go bow and arrow hunting? And he's like, it's bow hunting. And I'm like, well, do you have an arrow? He's like, well, yeah. I'm like, well, then it sounds like a bow and arrow to me.
Yep.
But I think he didn't like it. It made him feel very Robin Hood. But in all honesty, it's honest. Geez, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. No, and we're really seeing a lot of people that are going back to what you're kind of referring to is archery hunting. You can make it what you want. There's been a lot of advances in technology, as you can see in some of the equipment that archery deer hunters use. But we also have some of the people that are going back to retro, and they're using a recurve, and you can use within the framework of legalities. But one thing, as you see right there, we encourage safety. And if you're going up in a tree stand, making sure you've got the harness, whether it's safety on the water, safety deer hunting in the tree stand, in the ground blind. The first and foremost thing we really preach to people is safety, because a lot of times when you talk about enjoying the outdoors, it's individual. It's one person. It's you. And if something happens, if something goes wrong, you want to make sure that you've got the harness. You want to make sure that you've got all the safety equipment so that you can go home. And unfortunately, I know people that have fallen out of tree stands. And I know people that have been, I had a softball coach, and he's paralyzed, and he's in a wheelchair because he fell out of a tree stand. And one of the hurdles that we have when it comes to anything hunting is nobody heads out to the tree stand and says, well, today I better harness up because I might fall out of the stand.
Yeah, you're never ready for it. It's like riding a bike with a helmet.
You got to do it every single time. You get in your truck, you put on your seatbelt, you go archery deer hunting, you get the harness, you get everything hooked up so that you're safe. And that's really a high priority. We want to make sure that everybody's got their license and everybody's legal, but safety becomes a really, really huge part of that. So we can't encourage people enough to make sure for this archery deer season. A couple other things on that line. Our archery deer season is not limited to units. So you don't have to go through the lottery where people will say, man, I didn't get drawn for a deer tag. For the rifle tags, those are done through units and through a lottery. One of the really big draws of archery deer hunting is the fact that you can buy the license without going through a lottery. So essentially, if you want to hunt deer with a bow and arrow in North Dakota.
Don't forget the arrow.
Don't forget the arrow. You can. You just you buy the license online. You got to wait for it to come to you in the mail, and then you're not restricted. So if you grew up in Williston and you want to travel back there for the opener, and you go back there for the opening weekend, and you live in Hankinson, well, you come back to Hankinson and you can hunt deer with a bow in Hankinson. If you decide in the middle of September you're going to go duck hunting in Devil's Lake and you want to also go archery deer hunting there, that archery deer license is good anywhere in the state. It's not limited by lottery. It's not limited by units. We've really seen with the challenge in people drawing a rifle tag, going through the lottery, getting turned down year after year after year. We've seen a lot of people that have been kind of shifting over to archery deer hunting. Big thing is it opens up on Friday at 12 noon. And it's a long season, goes till I believe January 5th, so you've got a lot of time. Yeah, you got a lot. That's one of the other things I should say. If people are thinking, man, you want to sit out there in the mosquitoes and sit up in a tree stand, this is the time of year when those bucks are in velvet, and we offer in North Dakota one of the earliest archery deer seasons, and that's why people really, really want to. They want to get a shot at a buck in velvet, and this is the chance to do that.
Well, there you go. And it sounds like it's very convenient that
yeah,
there's just less hoops to jump through.
Right. No, you're right, because you don't have to go through the lottery, and then you're not restricted to the unit. So it is a very dynamic tag. It's really a dynamic tag, and that season opening up this weekend is going to be not going to be as big as the deer rifle opener, but it's going to be a big opener. And the other side of it is it should be pretty good. Our deer numbers should be coming back a little bit from where they've been depressed for the last 2 to 3 years. So should be some more opportunities out there as well.
And dove season opening up this Sunday. So you got deer hunting, then you got dove hunting.
Right, and this is a hunt that maybe some people kind of shrug their shoulders on it, or they're so small, and is dove hunting. No, it's not pheasant hunting. It's not deer hunting for some people. It doesn't seem to be as it's actually more challenging. They're smaller and they're faster, but there's so many of them. Dove hunting is huge down south because they don't have as ample opportunities to hunt some of the other game, and the high population of people in Texas and in the south. It's harder to get on land, so dove hunting becomes a little more of one of the only things they can do. If you look statistically, I believe dove hunting is the most popular game bird in North America.
Really? I would guess the turkey.
Yeah, turkeys, pheasants, and again, those draw a little bit more attention. But when you look at, really we don't have a lot of people in North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana, Wyoming. We don't have the population base. So you just don't generate the amount of hunters and the amount of days hunted. So dove hunting is very, very popular. If you've never been dove hunting, if you recently moved here, you're thinking, yeah, you know what? Hey, there are lots of doves around. 15 daily, so there's you can shoot a lot of doves. They're tough to hit. They taste delicious. The problem is they're so small. It takes a lot of them to make a meal out of it. But you can also find doves in kind of the more urban counties, your Grand Forks County, Cass County,
in Chicago.
Yeah, right.
Everywhere.
Right. No, absolutely. So again, when people say, "Man, there's no pheasants in the Red River Valley," you're not wrong. But instead of, again, sitting there grousing, well, there's nothing to hunt, there's nothing to hunt, there's nothing to hunt, look at the opportunities. People don't want to say, oh, go rabbit hunting. Rabbit tastes delicious. There's rabbits all over the place. And if you find rabbits, very seldom is a landowner going to say, nope, I don't want you going out there shooting rabbits. And the biggest thing with doves is if there's a farmer that's got cattle out there, they may not want the shotguns around, scaring the cows. Sure. We also want to make sure it looks really enticing to see doves sitting on a power line, but you can't shoot.
Do that.
You can't do that. You can't do that.
That says just like, think about it for 2 seconds.
I know, and you know, yeah. And it's not hard. And the unfortunate reality is when people do that, they also know too that they shouldn't do that, that it's illegal to do that. Sometimes people get frustrated. They're out dove hunting and they miss. And they're like, well, there they are. They're just sitting on that power line. I'll try to scare them off there and then shoot them. And the next thing you know, you got damage to a power line. It's illegal, and you're paying civil penalties to the power company for the repairs. So just
ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. Just refrain. Just hold off, but give dove hunting a thought. The other thing on that is, I know we haven't had as hot a weather as we typically have in August. Once we start cooling down the mid part of September, the first cold snap that comes through, we get a mid-September frost, whatever. Those doves, they're the first ones to start heading south. So it's not something where you wait till October and say maybe I'll go dove hunting. It's a good opportunity to take part in as soon as you possibly can.
And then this weekend, you got some fishing, you got some hunting. What kind of important reminders do we need to have it here?
Well, when it comes to heading out for the weekend, we get a lot of people that might want to go to some wildlife management areas to do some camping. Again, there's restrictions on that. Wherever you go, check out the rules and regulations. Some limit glass containers, some limit how many days that you can actually be there, because sometimes the campgrounds are full, and so let's just go out here. And so make sure you check ahead on that. As far as the hunting side of things, it hasn't been as dry around here, but there are also pockets in western North Dakota that may not have had the rain that we've had. So we want to make sure people are aware of wildfires, and if you see something, say something. Make sure that you're not driving off trail unintentionally. When you get some stubble or some grass wrapped around the catalytic converter, it can start fires out there. So just be aware of that. That's one of the things with such a mobile world where people are traveling 2-3 hours to go hunting and to go fishing. As you get out there, go, whoa, this is really wet. Everything's muddy out here. It wasn't that muddy back home. So be aware of the conditions and where you're at. You referenced a little bit on the cell phones, and we want to encourage people to make sure you let your friends and family know where you're at.
Yeah, definitely.
It's good to tap back a location. Hey, made it to the site, up in the tree stand. I'll be out by sunset. If you don't hear from me by 8:30, tap your location. This is where, and it's good on both ends. If your spouse or significant other, someone needs to get a hold of you, they know where you're at.
Yeah.
If you need to get a hold of them, it's always good. So nobody ever thinks of that stuff ahead of time, but we always try to just kind of tag the reminders on there, because the peace of mind. If somebody can't get a hold of you and they're wondering where you're at, well, then you just lost that peace of mind. But,
right.
If they say, hey, the football game went late, we're going to miss you at supper tonight or whatever, versus, hey, what happened? Where are they at? Why aren't they out?
Right.
Why aren't they here
That's
yet?
where the GPS is so clutch.
It really is. Yeah,
So
it is.
being able to track somebody down if some sort of worst case scenario does happen.
Yeah, no, it is. And then on the fishing side of things, just because you don't see people out there fishing doesn't mean the fish aren't there, doesn't mean they're not biting. A lot of times what it means is they got a football game on Friday night, they got volleyball coming up, there's so many other things happening. They might be out deer hunting, they might be out dove hunting. The fish are out there. If you like, we're going to talk about this moving forward through the fall, if you like to spend your time outdoors without as much competition, without as much congestion, then fall fishing is for you, because you can sometimes have the entire lake to yourself, and you think back, whoa, 4th of July, man, this place was just packed. There was boats everywhere. And now, the 4th of September, you can have it all to yourself, and you can be catching fish and catching peace at the same time.
Ooh, love that. Catching peace at the same
No
time.
limit on peace. Still a limit on fish.
I like that. I like it. We should make T-shirts.
We're gonna run out of. We gotta find somebody to fund this, because we've been making a lot of T-shirts. You got your Zen Master from Phil Jackson, and
Yeah. Golly.
yeah.
Well, I got a question for you. We're talking American gooses, we're talking Canadian gooses. I know there's Canadian gooses have a different healthcare system. Other than that, what's the difference between a Canadian goose and an American goose?
You measure the Canadian goose in kilograms.
Okay.
The American goose is in pounds. The size is in centimeters and meters. In America, it's inches. It's pretty fundamental when you get down to it.
Okay.
And the price, the value is a little bit different. There's an exchange rate. As they fly over the Canadian border, the value changes.
Yes, and usually the American goose is a little more valuable.
I'd like to think so myself.
Yeah. Anyway, all jokes aside, we get early Canada goose hunting. How's that going?
It's been going pretty good. It's been getting better and better. It actually opened up on August 15th, and the more small grain harvest that continues on and wraps up, the better it gets for the hunters, as fields that were wet dry out. It's been getting, this is my poor English teachers, it's been getting good. I'm just going to go into Jethro mode. It's been getting good. It's going to get better. It's going pretty good.
Okay.
And I think if you're an early Canada goose hunter, there's another option for you as well. And if you haven't been out there, it's been actually South Central North Dakota been really, really good. And it should be a good weekend for that as well. I forgot all about it. So nice pickup.
That's what I'm here for. And, it sounds like late August, people, like you said, they don't really think about it, but it really is a great time to fish. How long is the run, though? Like, when does it stop being a good time to fish, or just change the way you're fishing?
When the ice goes, when you get the ice on there, then it all just changes.
Yeah.
It's
well,
really,
then it's ice fishing time,
right.
but it has to get frozen.
That's one of the beautiful things about North Dakota. Like, our fishing season never closes. We don't, take issue with how other states like Minnesota do it. Our fishing never closes in North Dakota, and you do have times where it might be a little bit slower, but that's one of the beautiful things about it is, and it should be really good, going into as the water temperatures get colder and going deeper into September. The other thing about that is if you are a shore fisherman, the weed growth is really, it's happened in North Dakota, algae blooms. We talked about that last week. We've talked about some weed growth. So shore fishing gets to be a little bit more of a challenge. This is a good time to have a friend with a boat and ask them if they'd like to take you fishing. Take a buddy fishing. Offer to maybe, hey, I'll help you take the boat out, the dock out, the lift out. I'll help you close up the lake. Let's go out and do a little bit of fishing, because sometimes those memories are even better when you do it with a friend. But it should be really. We'll continue to talk about this because, man. We're living in the good old days of fishing where we're at, and we can't encourage people enough to get out there. And it's a resource, it's a renewable resource, and fill within limits. Fill the freezer. Once you hit the limit, stop filling the freezer. But yeah,
if you can't fit them in the freezer, it gets smelly.
Yeah, right.
You don't want that.
Exactly. Start eating. Start eating.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Right. Absolutely.
I go in there with 2 forks.
Oh man, so good and good for you.
Yeah.
High protein,
Yep.
fish oil.
Yeah. And it's really good for your joints and your brain health, eye health. Fish oil just kind of slept on.
It is. And again, I know we got to wrap things up, but you want to talk about fresh, organic, free range. Get yourself a fish out of a North Dakota, South Dakota, or Minnesota lake. It doesn't get much fresher than that.
Can't beat it.
Nope.
Can't beat it.
Not at all.
That's all we got for today. Adam and Doug signing off. Doug, thank you, my man.
You're welcome. Take care. Have a good trip.
How going to be this year?
We'll find out.
We'll find out. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for watching on Valley News. Now, we'll catch you next